will now discuss methodological naturalism and how it affects two types of scientific research. Our goals are to understand the limits of naturalism and explore how to use an alternative to naturalism for doing science. We've discussed methodological naturalism and an alternative, and so let's look at those a little more closely. In methodological naturalism, the laws of nature are everything, and we are not allowed to use miracles as explanations in science. In interventionism, however, laws of nature are still of critical importance, but God can use them in unique ways. And Scripture contains true insights in history. It can guide us in asking the right questions. It can help us to think of new scientific interpretations. We need to break down the components of naturalism a little bit. Methodological naturalism is portrayed as just a method of science that doesn't allow us to use miracles in explanations ever. How is it applied to two different types of science? The first one will be experimental or observational study of ongoing processes of nature, things we can observe and actually see them happening. And the second part will be study of history, the study of origins. So first of all, number one, experimental or observational study of ongoing processes of nature. What do we mean by that? In studying processes, we're studying how things work. So we can look at this car, we can ask, how does it work? We can also look at this donkey and ask, how does it work? Whereas in number two, study of history, origins, we're looking at events. What happened? Where did donkeys come from? That's a question we ask in study of history. Proceeding with those study of processes, how do things work? We have learned that natural processes work by the laws of chemistry and physics. And so this student here doing an experiment is probably not going to be asking herself, I wonder if God is tinkering with my experiment. Since we have learned that natural processes that work on a day-to-day basis work according to the laws of chemistry and physics, and God doesn't normally tinker with those, methodological naturalism is really not needed here. All we need is recognition of the reliability of chemical and physical laws. That is sufficient. In study of history, of origins, the decision of what to do with naturalism is more complex. In understanding ancient history, it matters if there were supernatural events. If origin of life requires intelligent design, naturalism is dead. On the other hand, if methodological naturalism is the accepted way of thinking, then the following cannot be accepted, no matter what the evidence. That would include creation of life, creation of Adam and Eve, the creation of anything, a global flood, life on Earth for only thousands of years. In study of ancient history of life and geology, we can analyze what happened, but there are limits. Examples will be presented in later sessions. Sometimes creationists are accused of being science stoppers, but on the other hand, naturalism can be a thought stopper. MN does not allow thoughtful consideration of alternate explanations of history. All explanations involving the supernatural, God, are automatically eliminated. What's the proper role of science? It can't study how a miracle occurs, but it can study events, even if they imply a miracle. Science can't determine if intervention happened, but it also can't determine if intervention did not happen. In summary, methodological naturalism in experimental science could be harmless, but in practice it always spills over into study of ancient history and requires conclusions and interpretations that science may not be able to determine.